Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the what's next on Brandon Figueroa, the WBC Interim Featherweight World Champion, following his return in, I think it was a 9th round knockout victory of Jesse Magdaleno, the former 122-pound champ, as they fought on the Canelo and Munguia undercard on pay-per-view back on May 4th. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. Figueroa, this return was a good one for him. You know, he hadn't fought in, I think it was around 14 months. Didn't really know what was going on with him. You know, he was supposed to be the #1 ranked contender, or the mandatory, you know, he was the interim champion, and I thought for a minute there that he had been stripped or something, because Nick Ball ended up fighting Ray Vargas for the title back in March, and we still hadn't heard anything on Figueroa, and then he gets this fight announced. It's announced that it's for the interim title. So obviously the WBC allowing him to stay interim champ and to take the time off whatever he was doing. So now Figueroa, it seems to be laser focused. It was a good performance, you know, body shot, folded Magdaleno, and that was all she wrote. But now the big question is, what's next for Brandon Figueroa following this victory? And it's tough to say right now, but I mean, it's not tough to say, because he should be in line to fight Ray Vargas. Vargas fought Nick Ball, fought to a draw, you know, in a good fight. Nick Ball's moving on and fighting Ray Ford in June. So this should be pretty easy right here. It should be Figueroa and Vargas in a fight that we've been wanting to see for over a year now. So that should be what's next, but who knows if the WBC is going to enforce that. So I'm assuming that that's going to be what's next, but let's run through the rest of the top 10 just real fast and see what other possibilities could be if this fight is not indeed going to be next for Brandon Figueroa. We start with Luis Alberto Lopez, the IBF champion. I doubt it. It's top rank working with PBC. Bob Arum's lining Lopez up for other things, so I don't see this one. Lee Wood, the former champ, gave up his belt to move up to 130. He's not going to come back down and fight Figueroa. Also different, you know, promoters, so I doubt it. Mauricio Lara already made his move to 130, so that's not likely. As I said, Ray Vargas, I think, is the ideal. He was next on my list. Josh Warrington, the former 2-time champ, he looks like he's moving to 130, and he's also with Matchroom and DAZN, so I doubt him and Figueroa would get together. Rafael Espinosa, the undefeated WBO champions, returning in June to take on Sergio Sanchez. He's tied up with Top Rank, so I doubt these two guys get together. Robeisy Ramirez, another top ranked guy, so not likely that there's any interest, especially Ramirez coming off of a loss in his last fight. I doubt he'd want to fight a guy like Figueroa. Nick Ball is with a different promotion. He's fighting for the WBA title next against Ray Ford. If he were to beat Ray Ford, that'd be an interesting conversation, but I still don't think Figueroa would be next because he's with a different promotion. If he loses, I still don't know if that's next. Maybe if he loses another tight one, the WBC might, if they don't order Vargas and Figueroa, might order Figueroa and Nick Ball, since Nick Ball gave Vargas hell in their fight back in March and almost pulled it off. Then Joet Gonzalez, he's a top-ranked guy, so I don't see them getting together, even though it'd be a good fight. Raya Abe lost to Luis Alberto Lopez, so no interest there. Otabek Kolmatov lost to Ray Ford and also tore something in his knee, so he's going to be out a while, so I don't see that one. Arnold K. Guy's moving on and fighting in an IBF final eliminator, so nothing there. Ruben Villa is an interesting one. He's the WBC's number 2 contender right now. I think he moved up to number 1. And that would be interesting. That's another one that I think if for some reason Vargas doesn't fight Figueroa next, they might have Figueroa fight Ruben Villa to shore up the that position for mandatory. But I don't see, outside of unification, I don't see why they would do that. We'll get back to that in a minute. Lorado Diamante is fighting for the IBF in a IBF final eliminator, so that's out. Sergio Sanchez is fighting for the WBO title next against Rafael Espinosa, so that's out. And then Stephen Fulton Jr. in a rematch. I don't see a rematch on the table yet. Not yet. Maybe sometime in the near future, but not yet for a rematch, even though I really want to see a rematch between those two. So, next for Figueroa, in my opinion, is going to be Rey Vargas. It should be. If not, then I think Ruben Villa would be the logical choice because he's the WBC's number 1 ranked contender. If Vargas were to some reason take Villa on, then I think Figueroa might just fight Stephen Fulton next. But see, here's the kicker about that is Stephen Fulton is in line for the he's in line next for the WBA title that I think has a good chance of being vacant after Ray Ford and Nick Ball fight, because Ray Ford, I think, is only staying around at featherweight for this next fight. He made it very clear after he beat Kolmatov that he didn't really want to compete at featherweight anymore because it was too hard to make the weight. So I think Ray Ford is going to be making his move to the next division, and the belt goes vacant, and then Stephen Fulton gets the fight for the vacant title. So he might not take on Figueroa, but then again, maybe Figueroa looks at a rematch with him as logical because he wants revenge, and that's another world title. So I think those are the other couple possibilities, Villa and Fulton. But I really think Figueroa is going to get Rey Vargas next for the WBC title in their mandatory fight. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on Brandon Figueroa, the current WBC interim featherweight champion of the world. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.